Hello everyone, welcome to today's lesson. Have you ever heard sentences like the cake was baked or English is spoken around the world? Well, these are passive voices, but what does that exactly mean? How do we use them? So that's what we're learning today. The passive voice is something you hear all the time in English, especially in news, instructions, and even everyday conversations. And by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to use passive voice in present simple and past simple like an advanced speaker. So let's jump right in. Let's start with a simple question. Who is more important? The person doing the action or the action itself? Sometimes we care more about the action. For example, imagine you're watching the news and they say the new shopping mall was built in the city. Notice how they didn't say who built it. That's because the important thing is that the mall exists now. It doesn't matter who exactly built it. So passive voice is when we focus on the object of the action instead of the person doing the action. So let's take an example here. Um, Tom paints the house. This is a spoken in active voice, which is because the sentence focuses on Tom, the person doing the action. The second example says the house is painted. Not exactly told that it was painted by Tom, but the focus is on the house. So this is spoken using passive voice. In the passive voice, the thing receiving the action becomes the subject of a sentence. That's the whole key idea. Uh, all right, now let's break it down step by step, starting with the present simple passive. We use this when talking about things that happen regularly, facts or general truths. The formula for present simple passive voice is object receiving the action plus am is or are plus past participle. Um, let's look at an example. Imagine you're in a bread factory. Every day, workers make thousands of loaves of bread. You could say workers make bread every morning, which is spoken in active voice. Or you could say cars are made in factories, you, spoken using passive voice. Here, we don't really care about who makes the bread. The focus is on the bread itself. Another example, you go to school every day, right? Let's say they clean your classroom every evening. What's the passive version? The active version is they clean the classroom every evening. While if we switch to passive voice, it will be the room is cleaned every day, or the classroom is cleaned every day. Well, as you can see, it's quite easy here. You can get the hang of it. Um, Now, what if the action happened in the past? Maybe yesterday, last week, or even 100 years ago. Well, the formula for passive voice and past simple is the object receiving the action plus was were plus the past participle. Um, let's take an example from history. The Eiffel Tower is one of the most famous landmarks in the world, and it was built a long time ago. But do you know who built it? Probably not. In this case, we don't really need to know. Let's take an example. Gustave Eiffel built the Eiffel Tower in 1899. This example is spoken in active voice. While if we switch to the passive voice, uh, it will change. The Eiffel Tower was built in 1889. Another example, imagine you lost your phone yesterday. You don't know who took it, but you tell your friend, someone stole my phone. Well, this example is spoken in active voice. While if we switch to the passive voice, my phone was stolen will be more correct. So past simple passive is super useful when we're talking about past events and we don't know or don't care about doer of the action. Let's move on to some of the common mistakes and some tips. Before we move on, let me quickly go over the two common mistakes students make when learning the passive voice. First, forgetting to use the past participle. A lot of people say things like the food is cooked instead of the food is cooked. Remember, we always need the past participle. Secondly, using the wrong verb to be. Another mistake is using the wrong form of to be. For example, people say the book was right instead of the book was written. You must always check the tense. Here are some of the quick tricks to spot passive voice. If you ever feel confused, ask yourself, is the focus on the action instead of the person doing it? Does the sentence use is, am, are for present or was, were for past? And does it end with a past participle? If the answer is yes, then you're looking at a passive sentence. Now let's have some practice time. Let's practice a little. I'll give you four active sentences, and I want you to change them into passive voice. You can pause the video and try to finish the task. All right, now I believe you finished the task. Let's reveal the answers. Um, Here are the answers. The first answer says bread is baked every morning. Second answer says the thief was arrested. The third one says apples are grown on this farm. And the last one says a letter was written yesterday. So good job if you did very well. That means you understood the topic by itself. Let's run a quick summary. Let's quickly go over what we learned today. So passive voice is when we focus on the object of the action instead of the person doing the action. Present simple passive uses the formula am, is, or are plus past participle. Then we have the past simple passive. The past simple passive uses the formula was, were plus past participle. We use passive voice when the doer is unknown, unimportant, or obvious. So that's it. Now you're ready to use the passive voice in your own sentences. Keep practicing and soon it will feel natural. If you found this lesson helpful, don't forget to check out every other lesson. See you see you in the next lesson. Good luck.